That fucking amps you up.
Surprise, guys. I made that.
I don't know if you guys saw, but I was like,
yeah, you were rocking out hard.
Yeah, I was.
It's a lot better than elevator music to wait for the stream to start, huh?
Heard that. Wish I didn't, but I did. Is that Billy's?
No, that was that's CapCut music.
Oh, that's shit.
Yeah.
You got me excited. I thought it was something like Billy did. I was
Billy
like, hell yeah.
Billy definitely could have done that, but that was literally thought of at 10 o'clock, and I quick whipped that together with the little graphics and the cool stuff.
Well, hell yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Well, here we are, episode 15, Bad Booking. ABJ, Chase, Raz, and Mark here tonight on the call. Graves is doing some Easter dinner stuff, so he is not here tonight, but we have a ton to unpack. Make sure you check the links below for all of the things to support us. YouTube channels, Twitches. Me and Chase both have link trees because we have too much shit, but there's all that in there as well as Graves. So yeah, without further ado, man, what's first on the docket?
Let's go into some AEW before we end the show with our WrestleMania recap. So we got AEW.
Yeah, this is gonna be heavy
today.
WrestleMania. Yeah,
it's gonna be a big, heavy WrestleMania. Raw after WrestleMania. WWE being sold. We got a lot on the docket today. So first off, we can talk about AEW with the Blackpool Combat Club just absolutely terrorizing AEW. But more importantly, Danielson returning. Now, does that set up an IWGP title match with Omega, as well as maybe a potential Japan tour?
I hope so. I think he deserves it more than anybody.
It's a good question. I could see that happening because I could see then possibility of if Danielson wins, like Zack Sabre Jr. versus Danielson for the IWGP down the track.
Chase, what do you think?
Are we talking about like Forbidden Door ish, All In ish?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I know that Danielson has been wanting to go to Japan, and I feel like at this point in time, with them turning, and it seems like Kenny Omega is more of a face type deal as of this moment, it's kind of setting up that match for IWGP. So I don't know. Maybe Forbidden Door. That's definitely on the docket, but maybe a potential tour for Danielson, maybe a couple months tour, maybe taking the title off of him, bringing it back to Japan.
Yeah, I think like maybe if something happens at Forbidden Door 2 or whatever, that it could bleed into All In and then All Out. So I wouldn't hate it.
There's a week separating All In and All Out. So
yeah.
Is that confirmed? Is that confirmed?
Yes.
Yeah. It is literally on the 27th is All In, and then the week later is All Out.
Oh,
and then 2 weeks after that is You Shake It All About. And then you do the AEW Hokey Pokey. That's what it's all about.
There you go. I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
So what do you guys think about the BCC right now, Terry's in AEW? Do you love it? You hate it? Think it's too much? Think it's not enough?
The stables are weird to me. Jericho's stables, like, I don't know, there's like 5 stables, and now one just like, I'm going to take over. But it's just like, it's kind of like when the Bloodline was doing their thing, and then the other WWE had the stables, but nobody was like acknowledging the other stable existed, and they were running shit. So it's weird for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement there. You've got so many different stables going on at once.
I don't mind the different stables, but I'm just kind of like, I'm not a huge fan of the Blackpool Combat Club turning heel. The other thing like is really weird to me is Mox is still using Wild Thing as a heel, and that's just odd to me.
But does this get us?
That's actually a good point, Chase. Like, are you? I've always been indifferent as far as like the music when you're heel and when you're face. So you feel like because Wild Thing was more of a face, you want that to change?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of entrances, I just want to throw out there, kudos to the FTR for winning the tag team titles. Very excited. Yeah. But if you don't see Colton and Austin Gunn as fucking superstars, after that entrance,
bro.
Oh my god, dude. They have stepped up their game. They have stepped up their game so much. And then like that entrance, like, cause I had so many, we had so many people on wrestling social media talk about
dogging them.
Just dogging on the Gun Club when the Gun Club beat FTR and the Gun Club beat.
I liked it.
I loved it.
And everybody was like, hey, are you serious? The Gun Club? They're going to let FTR walk away and go back to WWE for guys like the Gun Club? Yeah, they are. By the way, they didn't. So, but anyways, like, if you don't think Austin Colton are stars, man, like, and that entrance, dude, that entrance gave me chills.
It gave me, I was sitting there, I was like, wait, what?
Bro,
what's
name
going
one
on right
name
now?
one person who didn't buy Get Rich or Die Trying album. It doesn't exist. Everybody bought
Exactly.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
I mean, I
It
didn't
was
buy it.
badass.
I didn't buy it. I bootlegged.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
it
was-
LimeWire.
Everyone hit the
Yeah,
frost
Mini
wire.
Men. I
LimeWire.
was like, no, they're not doing Mini Men.
Yeah,
In
and
the
then they
all
did
white gear.
the
It was
all
pretty-
white
It was
gear,
pretty dope.
the Sean inspired gear that they've been wearing lately. Like I said, little step ups that they've been doing, man. And then like the camera panning around. I had the opportunity to meet them at WrestleCon and I didn't, because I had to be like conscious of who all I met and who all I had an opportunity to talk to. And I didn't them. And after watching that entrance, I want to punch myself in the nuts. So
Yeah, AEW did a good job. Is doing a decent job. One of the things I said it was kind of it might be their struggle. It might be their downfall. Is they were in this transition where they were building new stars and keeping the big stars away from the young stars. But now this is your first time where you had a chance to put the young star versus the big star, and the big star walked out. But you had to with the stipulation of the match.
yeah,
You had to with the stipulation of the match, but at the same time, I mean, I'm not mad that they lost. And
No,
additionally,
I think the Guns went out there
yeah.
and showed that they can wrestle a really good match
for sure. And then
with no shenanigans for the most part.
for sure. And then with FTR actually dropping titles to them too, like I mean, not dropping titles to them. I mean, with them beating FTR too, that shows that FTR is willing to help build up other stars as well. So that's what really helps it.
But it also brings to point Chase's little thing from the other week where he was saying about you don't let people like FTR work a program with the champions.
a week before their contract expires. It was just it was silly for people to assume that it wasn't a work. So but I mean, kudos to Mark. Because Mark has been like, hey, I want to see tag teams. I want to see trios. I want to see tag teams. I want to see trios. Bro, if I had a nickel for every time I heard Mark, back when Mark was my co-host on the AEW Dynamite Post show, every single time Mark said something about the tag teams and the trios, man, and AEW has put a lot of emphasis because they do. They have all these stables. They have all these tag teams, and they have done a great job lately of putting emphasis on the trios, on the tag teams.
Yeah, and look at the fact that we've got the Best Friends versus the House of Black, and then this week on Dynamite we've got what was that, Chase?
I was repeating what you said. I had to like process it in my brain for a second.
Yeah, we got the Best Friends.
You said the House of Black, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, say it again.
House of Black.
Okay. All right. Much better. All right.
Are you cooked?
No.
Are you sure?
No. Yeah, I'm positive. I was.
All right, let's get back on track. So go on.
I was like, well, everyone, that was good night, everybody.
Anyway, as I was
All right,
saying,
get back, Rez. Go ahead.
we've got Buddy Matthews versus Orange Cassidy coming up this week for the international title as well.
Yeah.
Like, so we're getting an established star essentially because Buddy Matthews with yeah, Chase, say wolf.
Wolf.
No, that's the noise they make. That's not the actual animal's name.
Jeez.
Anyway,
Jeez.
yeah, we got the established star versus the up and comer in Orange Cassidy. So AEW is definitely moving in the right direction in that regard.
Yeah, they are doing better with their booking.
I mean,
Booking has gotten better.
Personally, with WWE being sold and the whole Vince McMahon scandal and all that stuff, this is AEW's time to get back everyone talking to them get back, with the whole London announcement, which we'll talk about in a second. It's their time. It's their time to do that. So going back with the tag teams and the trios, when AEW first came out, what were they saying? We have the best tag team division. We have the best tag teams here, the best young crowd, whatever, and they weren't utilizing them. But now, like Chase says, they are utilizing them. Even though FTR is back in the fray, you have an established team with the Guns, which everyone was dogging these guys for no fucking reason. These guys are over. They totally deserve to beat the Acclaim, and they did. And I love how the Many Men, and they're doing
I get
a
it because if
fantastic
you
job.
watched the last pay-per-view, like the reaction when they won that title, that 4-way title match, there was no reaction from the crowd. So I think that's what was everybody's opinion on it.
Well, nobody wanted them to win. Everybody wanted FTR to take the titles off the Acclaimed. But ABJ and I, ABJ mentioned it a bunch of times before. AEW was going to have a problem when they ran into the Acclaimed versus FTR.
Yeah.
So AEW played the smart hand here, where they got the titles off of the Acclaimed and onto the Guns, and then FTR faced the Guns instead of facing the Acclaimed. So you didn't have two baby faces going head to head there.
And you also set up a good feud in the future with your two young tag teams with the Acclaimed and the Guns, because they have yet to really touch or have a match of high meaning. So it prolongs that feud as well in the future, that it can come back together.
Although we've now moved the the Acclaimed across to feuding with Jericho's boys.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
man, as much as
I mean,
Jericho,
that's not a bad thing either.
JS.
You're not a fan of the JS right now?
Not anymore. They were funny when they came, but man, as much as I love Jericho, that fucking faction or stable, whatever you want to call it, is fucking ass.
Okay, who are you and what have you done with Mark?
Hey, I just said I love Jericho. I'm just saying. Anyways, so getting away from tag teams, I do want to talk about the Dante Martin injury.
Chase saw that live.
Chase
saw that live.
Such a crazy spot.
Yeah.
Like for what? I mean, is it necessary?
Realistically.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a spot they've done 100 times.
They have.
And as and everything he was supposed to do in that spot, he did properly. The only thing is one split second where just his ankle hit the wrong way, but everything else was perfect. He hit the table the way he was supposed to. He went through every table. It was supposed to cushion as best it could, but as he came down, that just the way he put his foot out and didn't stick his legs out straight or whatever it may be, it's just a freak accident. I mean, the question is here: does AEW slow down when it comes to, do we do this every week or do we save that stuff for pay-per-views?
That's my whole point. Go ahead, Russ.
If you actually watch back, when he's climbing up the ladder and gets pulled down from grabbing the titles beforehand, he lands awkwardly on his leg, like on his ankle then. So it's potential that he actually injured it beforehand, but that spot caused the break, essentially.
I thought he hit his leg on the stage.
It was like the floor. He hit the floor. And
as he's come down, he's hit the floor.
I thought he hit like the stairs or the stage, and that's what caused it.
No, his weight came down on his foot and it just shattered his ankle.
So I was up. I was at the back end of the stadium, like looking down. Mm-hmm. So I actually have a video of it, but you can't see the injury really well because of where it's at.
Oh, and they knew right away. They're like,
oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, like everybody, like I didn't know. I mean, I knew he was hurt, obviously, because everybody came up. But then I had a friend message me in our group chat, and he was like, dude, Dante's ankle is like flopping around, and it like bent 75 degrees the other way.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit. Okay.
Yeah, it was rooted.
But I mean, like, I don't like feel the need to go on social media and watch it because I don't want to.
I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to watch somebody snap their leg. But
like ABJ says, like, does AEW slow down after this though? Because they
You'd
do so many spots on free TV, so many different spots like that on free TV. It's like, is it too much?
Well, this wasn't free TV.
Oh yeah, it was not free TV.
I
understand.
I think what AEW has been doing better, and I think the younger generation of wrestlers are finally maybe listening and taking to some advice that maybe people like Punk were trying to give, and he was getting told to go fuck himself. I think they're learning how to work crowd better. Like they're getting the crowd involved. Jericho went out and told, literally in 1 week, made Action Andretti a megastar by working the crowd, and showed that we should be working crowd more. Even on the independent scene, a lot of these young guys are really starting to like step back and be like, we need more crowd participation. That's where the money is in the match. You can do 100 flips and stuff like that, but it's just like you gotta slow. Like, you don't need to do all these crazy spots every single time. You gotta save something for later.
Yeah. Like, it's definitely something that needs to slow down compared to what they have been doing.
But we are close to that 20-minute mark. So if there's any other AEW, let's get through that one.
Two more things. So number 1, Jay White, All Elite. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Jay White was seeing the writing on the wall, and he said, I don't think WWE is the spot for me right now. Yeah. I don't think AEW is a spot for him though either, to be honest with you.
Oh, I disagree with that.
I don't think they're gonna use him right away.
Why is that, Chase? You're muted.
Oh yeah, I think AEW is the perfect spot for Jay White. Jay White is the New Japan style. A lot of those guys are that New Japan style. Kenny excelled there. All those guys that came from New Japan have excelled there.
Who do they put him against?
Kenny.
It gives him a chance.
Bryan Danielson.
Not going to happen.
It gives him a chance.
It's not going to happen right now, but it's going to happen eventually.
I don't think it happens right away, but I think you got to have this money match. It's going to happen, I believe so too. Not right away. You got to work up to it, but it's going to happen.
Where would Jay White have benefited going?
And you've got a whole story coming into Forbidden Door that he can, like, he was booted from New Japan. You can work that.
They can work plenty of stories. I'm asking a question. Where would Jay White have benefited going?
I think there's more matches in WWE that people would have rather seen.
Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes.
That whole roster. There's people on that AJ Styles. It can go on and on. Riddle, Randy, fucking Roman. You can go on and on. Most of the stuff that we've seen Jay White do with those guys.
You can name all the guys in AEW that he can have great matches with.
But the problem is AEW is having a hard time keeping people away. Like, AEW has been proven to be getting handed gold with a talent and not use it. Or say, hey, we're gonna get this guy and stick him in a weird tag team, and then put him in these weird tag team angles. And
I think the reason why. So I think the reason why people think that is because people think of AEW by doing stories the same way that WWE does, and AEW doesn't do that.
And I think that's a disadvantage for Jay White. He's a storyteller.
He's a storyteller in the ring.
Stories in the ring.
Yeah,
that's the thing. He
came from New Japan, but they don't run angles.
And that's why I think him going to a WWE style where he would have slowed him down and let him be more of a character and more character work and not just rely on it in a 15 to 20, 30-minute match, and he could work it out in weeks. I think he would have benefited there more. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I agree. I think he could have some. I think the same problem that you're seeing with Cody is what you would have seen with Jay White. There is a couple of big mecha main event matches that Jay White would have had. And then after that, you would have gone, okay, what's Jay White going to do now?
From here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong. After this weekend, I think Jay White said the same thing. He goes, at least I won't. Cody went over, but I'll get into the Mania stuff with Cody later. That's
we're about to.
Yeah.
All right. So last thing, unless anybody has anything else on Jay White.
Nope. No.
Okay. So last thing. AEW is going to London.
Before we do this, I just want to make one quick thing. I'm going to hurt people's feelings here, especially your Long Island boys. If that segment MJF Day happens in any other arena with any other wrestler, and it would not be getting the praise it's getting. That shit was stupid.
Correct.
It was dumb, and I'm so confused.
I hated it.
I'm so confused. This is a huge.
If WWE did that, they'd be fucking crucified.
Well, WWE does and this is my issue. I just defended I just defended the MJF and Roman Reigns on a completely different thing because somebody asked some stupid question. They were like, "Who's the best heel right now, Roman or MJF?" I go, "Roman's not a fucking heel. Roman's not a heel at all. So how can you call Roman a heel when
You
he
think
goes
MJF's
into
a heel?
Well,
I mean,
hold on. This was a couple weeks ago when Roman walks into an arena and says, "Kansas
Brad, this is
City,
part 2, by the
acknowledge
way.
me," and then and then the
But
crowd
that has
erupts.
changed. That has since changed. That has changed since Toronto.
No, it hasn't. No, because I was in Kansas City after Toronto, and I watched St. Louis on TV. Go back and
Yeah.
watch it. When he says "acknowledge me," the whole crowd, at least half the crowd erupts. Roman's not a heel. MJF is a heel, except Long Island. So what are you doing?
Well,
Why
I'll
are you
table
putting
the
him?
Roman heel thing because that's gonna come back soon.
What? Why would you?
I agree. I think I agree with Chase on this one.
Why would you stick? Why would you stick MJF in front of a crowd that's going to erupt when he does something? No matter what he says, no matter what he does. And here's the worst part: they let MJF go out there and play the babyface part. It's like, what are you doing? I mean, I get it. Like, you can't control. Like, we all know. Like, there's those rambunctious crowds. Philly's a rambunctious crowd. Chicago's a rambunctious crowd. New York's a rambunctious crowd. You can't control them. They're unpredictable. But why would you let MJF play into it?
You know what's even worse? Why would you send Sammy out there as a heel and cut a babyface promo in the town against the heel he's trying to wrestle against?
Yeah.
That promo should have never happened. It was a horrible call for that promo.
That was dumb.
Agreed. All right.
All right, let's get into
AEW All In London. Big question.
Wembley Stadium.
Wembley Stadium. Can
ABJ.
they sell it out?
Do
Yes.
Who cares?
it. ABJ,
Exactly.
do it.
Who the fuck cares?
Raz has a little bit of
WWE didn't sell out SoFi Stadium. Before you guys get into it, because I know this is huge, but before you guys get into this, let's I just want to talk about this really quick. WWE couldn't sell out SoFi Stadium. WWE can't sell out big stadiums like that. So why do we set the bar higher for AEW?
Exactly.
If AEW
WWE sold out Clash of Castle though.
sold out,
60,000.
sold it out,
60,000.
I don't believe it. They told everybody that SoFi Stadium was sold out. No, it wasn't.
Yeah, the ABJ. Clash at the Castle only had 60,000.
Yeah, but I'm saying I think the international crowd is more hyped because I think the USA is kind of watered down.
Yeah,
so
when it comes there, it's a bigger deal.
I agree.
Like I said previously, what it is in America, you guys get it every week. You get the shows every single week. You get them every single month. Overseas in Australia,
they're special occasions.
And England and all that, it is a special occasion.
Yeah.
It's going to be huge. It is going to be absolutely damn huge.
Which we can garner that conversation for a different time, because I would argue that WWE and AEW both need to go overseas a lot more than once every 10 fucking years.
Well, they're gonna do Money in the Bank this year too, so they're overload. They're trying.
Here's what
AEW is actually giving the opportunity to international market to have something that's going to end up live on pay-per-view for people to watch.
Yeah. And so, like, to Mark's question, because Mark did a great job asking that question, because everybody's talked about it all week on social media.
All they're talking about.
Here's what the problem is that I thought was fantastic that I was looking at. WCW at the peak of WCW's hype. Monday Night Nitro, Goldberg winning the WCW championship. Peak of the Monday Night Wars, peak of WCW. No matter what you think about now, back then, that was peak. That arena, 20,000 people.
Yeah.
Madison Square Garden, max capacity, 25,000.
Well, here's the deal too. I think if you took, and I know when it comes to size of the arena, it doesn't compare, but the name Madison Square Garden, when wrestling comes to that venue, that's a big deal.
Oh, absolutely.
When like the other venues right now, these big stadiums, we're not accustomed to that being wrestling venues yet. You know what I mean? Like though we don't have that one stadium that we go, that's a wrestling stadium. There's no stadium yet on that circuit that says Madison Square Garden or the Chicago. You know what I mean? Like that city atmosphere. But when you go to the UK and you say we're putting something in Wembley, that's a big fucking
That's
deal.
a big
Wembley
deal.
is fucking huge. Like
Yeah.
WWE were there in 1992. In
One of the-
92.
One of my favorite matches, one of my favorite SummerSlam matches. I'd love to do that draft during SummerSlam time. British Bulldog and Bret Hart main evented that show for the Intercontinental Championship. Shame on Bret Hart. Bret Hart now talks shit on Davey Boy and said that Davey Boy was scared shitless and wasn't in good shape and wasn't in the right state of mind, and he had to carry that match. Fuck Bret for saying that, but it is what it is. So,
but in answer to Mark's question is, it doesn't matter if they sell it out. Whatever they get through that door at the end of the day is going to be huge for them.
I think it's going to be a huge win overall for AEW, and I can't wait to have CM Punk and FTR versus the Elite there.
you think that's going to main event?
We also might get one of the biggest free agent signings this year happening and debuting at that show.
Oh yeah? Do tell.
Drew McIntyre is not resigning in July, June or July. He said, "I'm not resigning."
Okay.
If his contract runs out, he is a free agent immediately. What a huge opportunity if Drew Galloway shows up in Wembley Stadium.
Oh, for sure.
AEW's gonna have to do it. So my last thing, I think that AEW has a problem as far as establishing who can go for the championship, and I think if that does happen, bringing him in immediately helps the heavyweight division. That's why I think Jay White is a big get as well, as long as he's used correctly, helps that heavyweight division.
You want my hot take?
Here we go.
I don't think MJF needs the world title right now.
No,
I don't think. No, I agree with you. I don't think he needs it anymore either.
He's the hottest heel in the company, and he hasn't needed the world title.
His matches are fantastic, but the buildup is just the same.
He needed
Dick's last resort over every week.
What he needed was that feud with Punk, which unfortunately didn't happen.
And then now it's going to happen, but it's not going to happen with him.
Yeah,
it's all right. We're gonna. Get
by the way, that AEW backstage show. If people watch that and think that's real, you're high.
They're insults.
There's no way that a bunch of females on the roster go out and talk shit as much as they did on Thunder Rosa for not to be an angle later on.
Right.
Yeah.
So
also, ABJ.
All right, 30 minutes in.
All right. The announcement, Raz. What do you got?
So, as some of our viewers may already know, may not, AEW is having an event in London. I mean, we just spoke about it, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what's happening. Hit it, ABJ.
Oh, snap.
Myself.
ABJ's going to Wembley?
And myself.
ABJ and Raz are going all in 2023 to Wembley Stadium.
Dope.
Nice.
Good for you.
That logo for at least the ABJ side right now, we're going to set Raz up as well. But the ABJ logo is on sale now. I am not one to beg. I'm not one to plead. I'm not one to say anything. But if you're going to support the channel and subscribe to a Patreon, buy merchandise, make donations, now's the time. Because
also, can we just say thank you so much to Hunter for making those logos?
Hunter killed it on those logos. They are so fucking cool.
He smashed it out in the Discord while we were
watched
watching.
him do it.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Also, we're going not just for a show. This is going to be a little bit of what the UK and the overseas people call a holiday. So we're looking at about 11 days in the UK. So there's going to be a lot of ABJ Raz content when it comes to brewery and bar reviews. We're not there to get hammered, but we're there to experience it. And I may have talked to some people and talked to some cool stuff that may be happening in the UK that week. So maybe a wrestling school, maybe another wrestling promotion that runs in the UK. We will be attending a show and maybe trying to reach out to some people to maybe sit down and get some interviews with while we're in the UK.
And definitely
Awesome.
some music
Nice.
stuff as well. We're definitely going to check out some bands and stuff while we're over there.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see that.
Maybe go see a football match. That's on the docket. So it's gonna be a lot of cool
Soccer.
stuff over there.
See a soccer match.
Yeah.
I'm going to the UK. I'm gonna call proper. I don't want to get cut
Football.
up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Football.
But like I said, any support really helps us out. It's gonna be fun. I don't really travel outside of a 100-mile radius of where I live. I've never been over to the UK. I have no idea what to expect. So this is gonna be a huge undertaking for me as well. But
I won't let you get stabbed, ABJ. It's okay.
anything's possible. But yeah, so we're gonna try to do some indie shows. We're gonna try to do some bars, go see some bands. We're gonna make an event out of it. So a lot of good content's gonna be coming.
Cool.
Hell
Man.
yeah.
Congrats. That's awesome. Super jealous.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Enjoy it.
We will not be on that episode of Bad Booking probably as well.
I'm so jealous.
It's all right. Chase doesn't yell at you, only me.
Well, I was gonna say, so jealous. I might just go.
Oh,
So I was like, maybe you should rebook your vacation.
Yeah.
now
Yeah,
you know why.
It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, if you guys can do anything now, just check out that links. Merchandise is up. So people who may have checked out the Teespring, I changed everything in there and added some new things and also adjusted a lot of the prices. So a lot of them are way more affordable now. I didn't go with those Teespring prices. For the people who bought something recently, I apologize. It's much cheaper now. All right, let's get into WWE. Before the Mania stuff, leading up to Mania, Endeavor buys WWE. Now UFC and WWE are part of the same partner company.
Mania. That happened after Mania.
Well, it was
Happened
announced.
during
It literally was the day after Mania.
Yeah. Well,
It
here's
happened
how
right
you knew.
before.
Here's how you knew that it happened because Pat McAfee showed up. We'll get into in a little bit. And Pat McAfee said, if you sign to the Saudis, your boy ain't coming back.
Yeah.
And that was a huge reason why he didn't sit on commentary. And he was like, I'm waiting for this sale. So Pat McAfee showing up was a huge indication that something's going to happen this weekend. The other stuff that happened that weekend, Vince is essentially back in charge. Is he, but in part of what? I'm not in part of creative. And then he said, well, I am going to be part of creative. So that was a whole fucking mess.
Above the weeds is what his exact.
But he also said that exact same terminology when Bischoff was in charge, and he was going to give creative to Bischoff, and then he's like, "Well, I'll only be in the weeds," and but that essentially meant I'm in full control. But yeah, tons of crazy.
He fired him shortly after.
Yeah, tons of crazy shit's going down. But we won't get into everything, so let's dive into Mania. Whoever wants to take charge of that, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it out there, and this is going to be a first for you guys, some of you guys to hear. But my favorite match from night one was Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley.
Killed it.
Called it.
And it was amazing. Like, that match was amazing. I don't know how to say it any better than that.
It was damn
Are you
good.
alone in the room that you were able to say that?
No, Anastasia's sitting
Oh,
doing the
I thought something got thrown at you.
But look,
Yeah.
even she agrees that match was great.
Without storyline, I mean, long-term storyline is there between Rhea and Charlotte, but without a big weekly build-up and the going into it was a huge reason why a lot of the women are pretty upset with WWE right now because it feels like they feel like their booking has been shelved very heavily. They went out and just when it came to a work rate style match and just physicality and just beating the shit out of each other, they fucking brought it.
Well, if you compare that to the other women's match, it's like fucking eating McDonald's and going to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah, it was crazy. They kicked the dog shit out of each other, and I agree.
First of all, don't sleep on the spicy McChicken, bro.
A chicken bacon ranch sandwich is pretty good too. I just had that the other day.
So I am not going to disagree with Raz, but I will say that Charlotte and Rhea was really, really good. But Kevin, Sammy, and the Usos was the best match of the weekend.
That's only because it had the story there. It had the story behind it.
Oh, yeah,
That's
the match was
only
great.
reason.
The
the
match
match
was
was
fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
The match was great, but it had the story behind it. It had the emotion behind it. People wanted Sammy and Kevin to walk away with those belts.
Yeah. Now I'm going to sound like a hypocrite here because I just talked about that match being the best match of the weekend. But I'm all for the Usos hype. I love the Usos. But can anybody explain to me why we dog on the Young Bucks for using super kick after super kick after super kick, and the
Because
Usos?
it's fun to dog on the AEW apparently.
The Usos do 20 fucking super kicks per match.
Because
And I haven't heard one
around.
person, not one person, talk shit on the Usos the same way people talk shit on the Bucks.
I think it's because the Bucks made it a brand.
But it's also the fact that AEW is the kicking ground, and people. It's like going back to the WCW, WWF days. People shit on WCW for a lot of things, and they did do things wrong. But this is essentially what's happening now, but it's with the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the super kick is used by everyone. KO does it as well.
Yep.
I mean, everyone does it. It's just a regular punch at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, but you can't sit there and shit on the Young Bucks and not shit on the Usos or not shit on anyone else that uses it as a regular punching move. Basically,
it's like when Jake used to use the DDT as a finisher, but then you'd have other wrestlers doing DDTs anyway. Like, how is Jake's different?
But back then it wasn't. It's what makes you sound old and grumpy in the business is because yes, Jake used to use a DDT, and when you used a DDT, you didn't get up. It's the same thing with a pile driver.
I actually experienced my first independent show. So in about a 2.5 year span of doing this, where before the locker room meeting went, they had a board and they had a thing, and they said, here's the moves you're not doing because they are going to be big spots later on in the show. So don't fucking do them.
Really?
And they literally told the locker room to talk amongst each other when they're setting up their matches. Like, the meeting was like, what's your big spot? Well, I'm doing this. Okay. No one fucking do that during this show because we don't want the fans to see it 45 times. So we want it to mean something when they do it. First time I've ever seen it done.
That's the first time. That's the first time out of the past 2.5 years you've ever seen that.
Yep.
That's wild because the main one that Josh and I sponsor and go to, he's a former NWA champ, Michael Strider. He does that every time he meets with the wrestlers. In the
Midwest is a little different. They still hold on to a lot of those old school mid South values.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Other than that, I mean, I thought WrestleMania was good. I mean, even night 2.
Night 1 was a home run. If night 2 didn't ever existed, night 1 can go down as one of the best manias of all time.
Night 1 was the better of the two.
It was.
I mean,
it was. I don't think night 2 was bad.
I don't think it was bad either.
It took a while to get picked up.
I hate the fact that we got the shonky finish at the end.
Yeah, we'll get there.
For me, that was what killed night 2.
So what about the Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther? Did you guys agree with the finish?
I would have liked to see Gunther more involved.
Yeah, I thought the match felt more like a one-on-one and Gunther was kind of part of it, and I feel like he made the championship more valued. And then in that rivalry, it was more about Drew and Sheamus than it was about Gunther as a champion,
or even the title. Yeah, it wasn't even really about the title. It was just about them beating the crap out of each other.
With the finish to
still
night
a good
2,
match though.
To the finish to night 2, I did agree with it. At first, I was like, damn, I really wanted Gunther to lose so Gunther could go for the WWE title. And then when Cody lost, I was like, all right, well, that says that.
I mean, there you go, Chase. Like having Cody win Gunther straight away.
Yeah.
Because you look at what happened between them in the Rumble, that was amazing. Like that was just a sweet spot in the Rumble. We still had like a 5 to 10 minute match after the Rumble had essentially finished, where it was just down to those two.
Yeah.
Well, that weekend was just an overall rough week for baby faces and companies, and the baby faces just took a beat in that weekend.
I mean, somehow, what's the saying, ABJ?
Somehow Briscoe did not beat Joe for a title, which is crazy.
What was the saying for the week of?
Oh, Brian said it was the week of castrating your baby faces in your company.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then listen, you can sit there and say all day long, because you're buying into Triple H's press conference, that the story's not over and it's going to continue and da 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 da, and the Roman call was the right call, and you think you're a booker and da da da. At the end of the day, if it wasn't Cody at WrestleMania, then when? Because you literally just put a ceiling on that guy. You essentially shown the world. Cody went out and did 15 Make-A-Wishes that weekend. Like, he's putting the work in. I don't want to be that speculation guy of them saying, haha, we took you away from your baby.
No, that's exactly what
and you talked all that shit and we fucking ripped it out from underneath you.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, man, you also just showed your entire roster and your entire company, and Roman's doing a great job. But you have no solidified babyface and you have no solidified contender to go for that title. And even if you build it up now that Cody goes through all these gauntlets of Brock and you could resurrect his dad, bring his brother, have him beat 400 guys in one night, it's still, he lost at Mania on that weekend. That was it. That was, you were at the tip of the roller coaster, and that was when you dropped it. And you shut the ride down and didn't let anyone experience it.
So you guys know that wrestling is all about capitalizing on momentum. There's only two people in the WWE right now that had massive momentum, and that's Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes, and they chose not to go either route. At this point,
Did Cody?
I 1 billion percent. One second, Chase. I'm sorry. I 1 billion percent agree with Anthony. There's nobody solidified that can take it right now. And at this point, and what they did to Cody, they shit on him for coming from AEW. They shit on him. Triple H is mad about the throw thing. I don't give a fuck. That's my theory. But now, after this point, I could fully see fucking Roman Reigns holding that shit for another year.
I fucking hope not, but
go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark. Throw up your one. Acknowledge him.
I wanted him to lose.
Acknowledge. But this is what you signed up for. This is what all you little dummies signed up for when you're like, oh, the bloodline and blah blah blah. He should have lost it last year for a few months, and he didn't. Why? Because they put Sammy in the story and they made it so cool and they made it awesome and blah blah blah. It is what it is. Wrong about Cody. Cody did not have the momentum that Sammy did. He just didn't.
He didn't have the momentum that Sammy did. Cody had momentum. He
didn't have the momentum Sammy did, and they still didn't pull the trigger on Sammy. And Cody still found a way with promo and storytelling to get it back, and made the fans say, "Well, we're okay with Sammy and Kevin, but if we don't, if Sammy and Kevin win the titles, we're happy." But it's end this chapter, end this story. It is time for a new face of WWE. It is time for somebody else to rival to. It is time. Everything was there. And even with the Sammy thing where everyone's like, fuck that. If it ain't Sammy, fuck Cody. Like, they could have easily turned that that as well. And everything was still there for Cody for nothing.
So I'm going to ask a question, but I don't want you to answer it because I'm going to continue.
Rhetorical. That's what that
means. Thank you. So, Triple H and Vince have hired Eric Bischoff, who tried to put them out of business. Do you really think that Triple H was like, "Oh, he squashed my throne on TV, so I'm gonna have him lose"?
No, Chase,
I told you I didn't want an answer to it. I didn't want an answer to it.
Eric Bischoff was hired by Vince, not Triple H.
I don't care. But who do you think Triple H learned the business from? So no, because I'm not done. You had your opportunity to talk. Now it's my time. So guys who have turned their back on Vince, walked out on Vince and Triple H and the company have all been welcomed back with open arms. Cody smashes the throne on TV and comes back, talks about the great relationship that he has with Hunter, but Hunter does that? No. Here's what happened. Endeavor, who's a real sport where guys go and really beat the shit out of each other, are on TV. Does Cody look like a guy who really beats the shit out of people? No. Does Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns? Yes. So guess who's going to be main eventing? Because Ari, who is the CEO of Endeavor, mentioned this deal was not a deal without Vince McMahon. There's your answer.
So do you think that Cody was slated to win, but then
Nope.
when the Endeavor
Never.
thing really came to pass at night one?
I sat down
it
with
changed?
Rikishi. I sat down with Rikishi Sunday morning at WrestleCon.
Did you really? Please
did.
tell us that story.
So I walked up to him. There was barely anybody there. They were getting ready to close. And I was just talking to him. Rikishi has all of his sons, other than Solo and the Usos, there helping, sell stuff, gather people around, all that other stuff. I walked up to him and I was like, are these your boys? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, I got them all doing something and they're all like, blah, blah, blah. And we started talking about kids. I sat down with him and we just shot the shit about like family and kids. And then he goes, all right. He goes, who you got tonight, brother? And I go, I got to go with Cody, man. And I was like, it's time. And I was like, a 3-year title reign. I was like, brother, this isn't 1983. This is 2023. I was like, it's got to end. And he was like, I don't think it is. And he goes, I'm going to pretend like I don't know anything. And I'm going to tell you that Cody's story, like it's just not there. So the question I want to ask you, and you guys can answer this, were you wanting Cody to win? Was Cody the guy? Or do you just want Roman to lose?
I wanted Cody to win. Cody to win.
If you look at the last, what we did
based off of what?
If you look at the last, with 10 years or 8 years of main events at WrestleMania, I think Lesnar's been in almost all of them except maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah,
I just think it's time that we get a new face. And even though I know Cody is champion, it's not going to be my cup of tea. I think he tells a better story. It's easier to build a story around him because Roman is just that, like, at least with the baby face, he'll, like, with Cena, say whatever you want about Cena, but Cena had moments where he lost the title so he could win it back to kind of build up, like, look how many titles I've won. But it was still enough to move things around and keep things fresh and keep things moving. Roman, babyface and heel, has been shoved down everyone's neck so long that I think what they're trying to do now essentially is when he puts his ones up, I think they're literally trying to wear the audience out of being like, we're done with him, like we're so sick of it. And then in the chat, everyone's saying that Cody had no build up to this Roman story.
He didn't, but the Cody story is there. Cody leaving, coming back. If you say there's zero build up to that, you're high. But this is WWE, where we don't acknowledge anything outside of WWE.
That's bullshit.
Cody literally had to be bullshit. Like, yo,
if you're in a wrestling, if you're in the wrestling world, the story's there.
Oh, you know absolutely. But to WWE, we know the story's there as fans. We know, like, hey, like, it was time for Roman to lose. I wanted Roman to lose last year. But for WWE looks at it and goes, wait, Cody comes back. He has a great program with Seth. Gets injured, is out 6 to 9 months, comes back at the Royal Rumble, comes in number 30. He has the most easiest paved road, but he's supposed to finish the story. His dad is the son of a plumber. He came in at 30. He came in at 30 and put a 25-minute match on.
Yeah,
he didn't come in at 30 and just throw a guy over the top rope and walk out.
They tried to make it seem like there was a struggle there, but there was no struggle.
But Chase,
he had an open road gate to that main event at WrestleMania,
as he should have, because the transparency of this guy being your guy sometimes is just there. You know what I mean? You don't need to have a story. You don't need to have a build up. He doesn't need to do all these crazy, like Kofi. They had to put through a gauntlet and they had to do all this because Kofi Mania. But here we all knew that Kofi was going to get his moment, but he wasn't a long-term guy. Everything about Cody since coming into the company has been like, that's our next guy. That's our guy we're going to make into the next face and guy of this brand. He's our next Cena. He's our next superhero. He's our next, like, little kids are going to fucking lose their mind over him.
As much as you hate to say it, ABJ, he's the next Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he really, but now you've taken all of that you built up, that he could be this next big guy that is equal to a Roman Reigns, and you made him a step or 4 lower. Yep. And he'll never, no matter what you do, he can go through all those gauntlets. He's never going to get to that level again.
And that was to answer your question, Chase. I agree with him.
Real quick, I told you so. I told you so.
I didn't think they were that dumb to do it.
Everybody on this panel, everybody in this chat, everybody on social media, you all sat there with your stupid shirts and your stupid holding up your ones, talking about how great this run is.
It's been a great run.
No. I said, what happens? What happens when the next guy beats him? You've set him up for failure.
No,
they can't even get anybody to beat him.
No.
What do you mean? The next guy who beats Roman?
Any person that beats Roman is always going to not live up to the Roman potential, and that's where I agree with Chase. Mostly, I disagree.
I think
with Chase,
Cody would.
That's where I agree with Chase. No,
I think
we were even talking about it last week, ABJ. That Cody, for the first 2-3 months, it was going to be in the honeymoon stage, and oh my God, it's great. He was the one, probably introduced a new title, doing the Make-A-Wishes, the John Cena #2, but he would have got stale a hell of a lot quicker than Roman Reigns.
It would have got stale to us as Mark fans. I'm sorry, real quick. It would have got stale for like older fans because that golden babyface thing has been shoved down so long we would get sick of it. But as a brand, as a moneymaker, as a butt seat filler, as new fresh storylines,
little nightmares.
There's literally 15 people. There's 15 people you can put in front of Cody right now that make fun storylines that you could be like, that would be interesting. Oh my God, I want to see that. But when you have a guy decimate your company for 2 years, and no matter who you put in there right now, it doesn't fucking matter. He's beat them all. He's beat every single one of them.
Hey,
now we go another
will you do
year.
Me which favor?
What's that?
Will you bring up Crisp? Will you bring up his comment?
Which one?
The can't predict something that didn't happen yet. That's what a prediction is, my buddy. Sorry, I didn't want to be a dick, but
you're right. But what I'm saying is
that's
like
what a prediction is.
Something.
Yeah.
One thing you guys brought up about how that there was no build to this with Cody. Essentially, the build has been he has been gone for 6 years. That is his struggle. He went from being Stardust to leaving the company, forging his path, going to AEW, coming back, and to grab the holy grail of the industry. At
this point, Stardust is inevitable now.
So, but let me ask you something, Scott. If that's how you feel about Stardust, or I mean, if that's how you feel about Cody, how come from somebody's point of view? Because I'll tell you what, Rikishi said that he thinks it should be Seth. Because Seth has put the company literally on his back, while that him and Roman carried the company, and then when Roman earned the right to take time off, he said that Seth continued to carry it, and so I agree with it, but I also agree with what you're saying, Scott. So if you were going to counter that argument, Scott, what would you say to somebody who was like, "But Seth has done all the work." Cody comes into the company day one, faces Seth, does a great program with Seth, was probably slated to win Money in the Bank, right? But then gets injured for 6 to 9 months and is gone, and then comes back at number 30 in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
like ABJ said, I 1000% agree. You got little nightmares behind the belts. I had a couple of them in front of me who bawled in tears when Cody lost. And then on Monday Night Raw, I had a couple more around me who were upset when he got beat up by Lesnar and stuff like that.
Brian had a really good point though. Seth Rollins is your work rate guy, sure, and our generation of fans would love that because we understand work rate, we understand how good he is in the ring. But when it comes to a major marketing selling point of selling t-shirts and selling merch and selling things and just the outside work that would be done to get it done, Seth's been there this long and he's still yet to hit that pinnacle. He's not that big. Like, even if you put a world title on him, he's not an outside marketable person for that company that a Cody Rhodes would be.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Cody's on a whole nother stratosphere when it comes to just professional wrestling and outside of professional wrestling. He could have been the next Cena, the next Rock, the next Batista, the guy who transitions outside and brings outside views into a wrestling business. And you essentially, and I'm no offense, Roman's not a guy who goes to Hollywood and brings stuff back. He struggles with that kind of stuff. But for you to not pull the trigger on Cody, just mind-boggling to me. It's just great. It's insane. Like when it happened, I was like, wow, that was a bad move.
I agree, it was a bad move. Yeah.
Who do we put there now? Who do we put up against Roman now?
At this point, like I said earlier, I could fully see him holding it on for another year because there's only 3 people in the WWE. No, I lied. 4 people in the WWE right now that I feel like can legitimately take it off to him right now. And one of them just lost at WrestleMania. The other one's a tag team champion, and the other one's Brock Lesnar, and I don't want to see it.
It's
Rollins, of course.
It's at a point right now where it's like, does it even matter? Because you know what I mean? It's you're like, there's nothing right now on WWE, and I'm being honest, there's nothing right like leading into Mania and what Mania was going to be after, and how like, we all kind of thought it was going to be a reset, and we're going to get this really cool new vision of WWE with a whole new storylines and everything going on, and all the news that broke. I don't. There's nothing that makes me turn around and go, boy, I'm excited to tune into weekly wrestling again under that regime and under that storytelling and under what's there right now. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like you have a draft that intrigues me a little bit, but what are you going to do with the draft now? You're going to tell Roman, hey, like you got to give up one title, or are we leading up to SummerSlam where we're unifying the one title for the men and the women and the tag team, and there's only one set? Like, is that the move? But that doesn't make sense with the draft. Like, if the move is Roman has to relinquish,
you already
the
had
title,
a unification match.
Yeah,
Why
but I'm
would you have
saying
another one?
if the thing is now where Roman has to split his titles and one title goes around or SmackDown and or one goes to Raw and he keeps SmackDown, and then we have a tournament and that's the new champion, that feels fake as fuck.
That would be the dumbest thing in the world for them to go. Hey,
that might be what they do here.
You've been the champion for so long, so we're going to make you give up one title.
I don't think it is. Yeah, Chase is actually right. Absolutely. No, I think, like I said last week, first of all,
give me 1 second, gentlemen.
I'm glad you already brought this up. So we already saw on the Raw after Mania, right? We have, I was about to say Sasha Banks. Wow, I'm stupid. Bianca Belair. We have Bianca Belair Bianca and Rhea tease a potential unification match. I already called that last week. I think at SummerSlam, everything's being unified officially. Now, they already had a unification match for Roman Reigns championships. I think they'll have a new championship at that point in time. I think everything gets unified. And as far as the draft goes, I think all champions go from show to show.
But isn't there talk that they want that Fox and NBC, they're on NBC, aren't they?
Well, here's the difference
with their own champions.
Here's the difference with that now. When they were begging for all that stuff, WWE wasn't in talks of a sale and talks of new contract agreements when it comes to where stuff's going to go. USA wanted their own champion. Fox was happy with the way things were. Right now, TV executives right now are looking at WWE going, yeah, we're not going to tell you what we want when it comes to what we're going to put on TV, because they could literally say, now that we made this deal, Disney's calling for, all this stuff. Everybody wants their own streaming service. WWE is a place right now when it comes to this marketing of who wants to be where and what they can sell it to. The only problem is if we go back to what Monday Night Raws and SmackDown were underneath Vince's booking, people are not going to watch. They're like the diehards are going to turn and they're going to run, because that year and a half, 2 years of Vince McMahon Monday Night Raws throwing scripts away, the locker room being shitty, you can tell the locker room didn't want to be there. That was not fun to watch. And that's kind of what we're looking at right now.
Kind of.
We're staring down the barrel of that gun.
Yeah.
We're staring down the barrel of that fucking gun. That's the problem. It doesn't matter if this sale had not gone through. If Vince is there, we're staring down the barrel of that gun. And we've got that problem. And the Raw after Mania fucking solidified it.
You know what's funny is I find it very ironic that people would clamor to stop watching if it was sold to Saudi Arabia, a subsidiary of Saudi Arabia, which a lot of companies are owned by that subsidiary. you'd be surprised. And I haven't heard of anybody boycotting those companies, which is funny. But I also find it hilarious that people talked about that, but nobody said a word about Vince McMahon and his sexual misconduct allegations and money laundering and stuff that ABJ, if you laundered money, you'd go to prison, brother. We're not billionaires like Vince McMahon, but everybody would stop if Saudi Arabia bought it.
But isn't that why most of the women are wanting to be away from the product right now? Because
a lot of rumors that a lot of names are saying we're done. Bailey put a cryptic tweet out. Asuka put a cryptic tweet out.
Yep.
Shinsuke put a tweet out. Drew saying he's not coming back. If you're literally a handful of wrestlers who were brought back after I was fired or after I was let go from the company, and then you all came back in the door and I fired you, there's a lot of names that might disappear again, like the Bronson Reeds, the Johnny Garganos, the Dexter Loomises, the Bray Wyatts. Vince could be like, gone. I got rid of you guys for a reason. Get the fuck out. There's a lot of really shady shit that can happen very soon.
Yep.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how everything unfolds.
And a lot of people, Grizzly Young veterans in the chat here would just said they asked for the release, they got it. 2 members of Schism asked for the release, they got it. So there's a lot of people just like
they want out.
Maybe bailing on this ship, and the answer isn't everyone goes to AEW because you just can't.
It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way.
But the independent scene, and one thing I want to, unless there's anything else Mania talk that we're going to do, but the independent scene is really looking like a fun place to be when it comes to certain companies and who you're working for, man. The Collective did amazing this year. Great showings for the Collective, and that Fight TV thing is helping them a lot. And now they're doing the traveling, more independents are popping up doing big things. It's just, I don't know, man.
There's also the fact of New Japan, All Japan, and Pro Wrestling Noah have an announcement coming up in 2 days.
Yep.
About something that's happening.
Yep.
So
and more foreign.
Opening.
Yeah, more foreign lands are getting more involved with wrestling. Canada's getting as much more now with AEW. UK is getting another blow up at the scene. There's a lot of opportunities for wrestling to go other places, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if you're not making WWE money but not being used.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's why Matt Cardona is still on the Indies. He says he's making more money now than he did and ever would have with his WWE contract.
Yeah, but he's kind of shut up about that recently. So
I think he's still WWE bound. Yeah.
Yep.
He's WWE bound.
I don't think
he's back here in Australia in October. He's back here in Australia in October.
Maybe.
Well,
he is.
Yeah,
they take bookings, but I've seen guys who are booked. I've been working for companies where someone like, yo, guess who we're getting this month? And we're like, oh, cool, who is it? And they say it, and then he gets signed, and like, guess who's not coming that month?
With World Series Wrestling, he's got a good relationship. He's been with World Series Wrestling for the past 3 years.
Yeah, but if a TV calls and he's going, he's not.
Scott, if he gets offered a WWE contract, he's taking it. It's not a matter of. Yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
But do you really think he's going to want to go back and pull the whole I'm Zack Ryder again?
No. If he has
a bargaining chip.
Yeah. No, he doesn't have a bargaining chip. Like Cody created the formula, guys. Like left.
There's a difference. Cody went and created a whole nother company and then bashed WWE every chance he has. Cardona went and did gimmicked don't like WWE, made a name for himself on the indies that was then a draw to come back because now your name is a draw. Cody had the name in the draw as well, but you also, whether you like to admit it or not, you were trying to take money off the plate. You were saying they weren't in competition, but you were essentially trying to become the Pepsi to the Coca-Cola.
The competition.
Cardona's just been on the scene making his name valuable, which the WWE turns around and goes, that's what we like to see. Come home.
And that's exactly, it's what Cody did. Cody left as Stardust, made a name as Cody Rhodes, and came back as Cody Rhodes. And Cardona would do the same thing. They wouldn't bring Cardona back as Zack Ryder, although ABJ's fantasy booking of it would just be amazing.
Yeah, he comes in and gets booked as Ryder snaps, and then
I would love it. I would love it if he just if his music just hit as Zack Ryder and he came out and then he stopped at the entrance ramp and took all of it off and was like, I'm not wearing this shit.
Whoa. So just seen a tweet. So New Japan Pro Wrestling has announced a mini tournament to crown the new number one contender for Kenny Omega's IWGP US Heavyweight Championship. On April 16th, it will be Lance Archer versus Juice Robinson. On May 21st, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Will Ospreay. June 4th, winners will face off at Dominion to advance to Forbidden Door.
Nice.
It's going to be Ospreay. It's going to be Ospreay. I thought Ospreay was still injured, but I thought it's going to be Ospreay.
Yeah, wrestling injuries, when they tell you how long they're going to be out, you can never take 4 to 6 months off that injury. Always.
Yeah, true.
Especially when they announce it.
Agreed.
But anything else? We actually did better on timing than I thought we were going to do.
Yeah. You mentioned the collective. I was able to watch DDT.
Oh my god. Bussy versus the pheromones. Yeah. Holy
that
Hannah.
Was I think amazing. That was Effie. That was Effie's Big Gay Brunch though, wasn't it?
No, that was DDT versus GCW, the pheromones versus Bussy.
Okay, then I went to DDT Goes Hollywood.
Okay,
that was the one I went to.
There's a lot I still haven't seen yet. I still have to go and watch it. I watched all of night 1, all of night 2, and then I didn't get the chance. Like I didn't get to see Emo yet. I didn't see Joey Janela. I didn't see get Effie's Big Gay Brunch. But I had a lot of friends who were on the first couple shows that had really good showings and did really cool stuff. For the culture, my buddy Darius Carter won the multi-man match, and he's a fantastic person. I wish more people know about him. JC Storm made an appearance there. A lot of cool names. It was a great weekend.
Yeah.
I didn't actually watch Stand and Deliver Steven Chambers. Sorry.
Stand and Deliver was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Yeah. So the
Did someone click that, or was that me?
I can't click anything.
I can't click anything.
Oh,
you're the only one that can do that.
I thought somebody was able to do it. I was like, that's cool.
Only the host can do it.
The first night I was in California, I went to Pandemonium Pro, which is ran by Kid Bandit. And they put on a phenomenal show. That's where I saw your girl Masha at.
Yeah,
she got her ass kicked by John Morrison.
It was an awesome match, though.
It was. She kind of kicked his ass.
Yeah,
she kicked his ass really well. So,
well, we did really good on timing. I do want to give Chase an opportunity. I have a question for Chase. So, since he actually got to go to WrestleMania and experience everything throughout that entire weekend, Chase, brother, your 3 favorite things of your entire week. Top 3. Give me your top 3.
So WrestleCon, interacting with those guys. I got to share a really cool moment with Mike Bennett. So
he's a really nice dude. Him and Maria, I got to talk to for hours, and I wish I could have bottled that and kept it forever.
Yeah. Mike Bennett is an amazing human being. So for those that don't know, I talk a lot about mental health. And I went through a massive mental health transition in the summer of 2020. And Mike Bennett's talk about his addiction and stuff like that.
Follow him on social media. He has really good stuff to listen to, and it's very motivational.
Yes, and it helped me a lot. So
Bad Luck Farley has some amazing stuff to listen to as well.
Yep. But I got to sit and talk to Mike about that, and that was amazing. And then X-Pac and I asked X-Pac, he was like, do you want a picture? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, I chose a picture of him by himself. And I was like, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Obviously you, Sean, and Kev and Hogan, the NWO was huge to me growing up, a huge fan. I can never get a picture of Scott because I know I can never get it signed by Scott. And he just he fucking broke down, and he was like, dude, he's like, you have no idea what that means. And he's like, but you also to counter that argument. He's like, all of our fucking pictures are with Scott. He was like, I have maybe 2 or 3 pictures without my best friend. And he was like, and then they asked us one time, they were like, you guys should think about cutting Scott out. And he just fucking broke down. He's like, I can never cut out Scott. He's like, that's my best friend in the world. And he was like, how the fuck would I do that? And I was like, I don't know. And he was
Wow.
like, yeah. So, which was awesome. Met Polio Del Mar. As
Oh,
soon as
yeah?
I said CR Media, like she was telling everybody all around. She was like, I rated them, and then now
That's
he's
awesome.
support. So
That is awesome.
that was cool. And then
polio. Sorry, I can't. I have speech thing. Polio and Thrillbilly have been killing it.
yes, Thrillbilly has been everywhere.
He's so good. I seen him at a GCW show by himself, and I was like, "This is my new favorite wrestler."
Yeah,
go back and check my tweets. There's a show I was at GCW, a settlement series, and I literally was taking pictures of him like a creep. And I was like, "This is the next fucking big dude right here. I think he's so entertaining." And then and then after the raid and everything, I'm like, "That's the guy."
So WrestleCon, and then the atmosphere of WrestleMania, guys, I'm from Kansas City. I grew up here. I've had 2 opportunities to go see my team in the Super Bowl, and I didn't do it. And I chose to do WrestleMania just because WrestleMania 10 was the first thing I ever saw when I was 4 years old. And I was like, I love this. I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. And so, to go there was just absolutely amazing. And then
hopefully I get to experience that next year in Philly.
Third thing.
You're getting it in bloody in Wembley.
That's not the same. That's not the same thing.
It's Wembley fucking Stadium.
Wembley Stadium is huge for me just because
Wembley Stadium is awesome, but WrestleMania is WrestleMania. It's not
the Super Bowl of one of our favorite thing, guys.
Look, I would love to be at WrestleMania. I would absolutely.
ABJ, I'm definitely going to Philly next year.
Yeah.
ABJ, if I am coming to Philly, I'm crashing at your place.
Yes. I have a 2-hour drive to Philly, so we might if you do your holiday bit where you want to stay longer. My place is probably not the best because there's no public transportation anywhere, so you might want to stay in a city. Yeah, that's the only bummer out here, man. We have nothing. Like when you come where I'm living, bro, everything shuts down at 9 o'clock. There's nothing to do. It's kind of depressing.
Fair enough.
And then the final thing, was I would probably say the independent shows. The independent shows were they were just it's really cool out here because and Kai can even attest to this. There is a group of people that go to Kansas City independent shows no matter where you're at, and you always see those group of people that West Coast independent scene. They seemed like bigger shows. Like I said, Kid Bandits, Pandemonium Pro had Masha Slamovich, Bussy, John Morrison, and dude, it was crazy because wrestlers were just there hanging out. Jacob Fatu, I had a conversation with him. Grayson Waller and Tyler Bates walked up the stairs, and they had hood-ons. Nobody fucked with them, of course, because they're there to watch wrestling. It was awesome. So
they're there to be,
it's great, man.
Enjoy the show.
Yeah.
I did forget one Mania topic I wanted to quick bring up, and I'm gonna sound like an absolute shithead piece of shit, but I don't care. I'll take it. I never ever in my life want to wish injury or anything on anybody. But goddamn, when Shane grabbed that mic and started crying, I was like, he's going to insert himself into a storyline, and we're going to be stuck with Shane McMahon taking a title away from somebody or fucking something so stupid. He's going to ruin someone's career. And then that quad blew out. And boy, that was a blessing in disguise.
Channeling his dad.
That was a blessing.
Channeling his dad.
Also, another big injury night to Finn, literally ripping the top of his skull off. Getting stapled mid-match.
And continuing the match.
Yeah, he got stapled mid-match. Went over to the side, put his head. They went ping, 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 and said, "Get in there."
Did they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if you watch it back on Peacock, you'll see that they pan away, and you see Edge was going around the ring trying to grab.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Sort of stuff.
I didn't know they.
That's because they were stapling his head.
They stapled him and said, "Get your ass back in there and finish this shit."
Yeah, and then they still probably called it short and then rushed through.
And he had another legitimate injury that he suffered a few weeks before as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, to his ankle, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that.
What about Judgment Day just taking 2 out of 3 L's?
Yeah, I thought Dominic should have won, and I thought
Me
Finn
too.
should have won. But that's just me. All right, we wrapping up.
We're wrapping up.
No draft this week. We will bring the draft back next week. We couldn't really lock one in, and we thought this topics are going to go longer. Thank you, everyone, for jumping in. We're up to like a total of 20 people viewing amongst all of our channels. Please do us a favor. When you are here, the links are below. I added the links on here now, so before it didn't really link everybody to everybody. But if you check the links below, there's links to my link tree, Chase's link tree, Raz's Twitch, Mark's Twitch, and YouTube. Please go support those other channels and follow each other. So if you're here for the ABJ, if you're here for Chase, mix it up. Go check out all this rest of this content. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. Also, in our links as well, there's Chase has his Discord. I have mine. Discords, I'm telling you, are a place to be. A lot of cool stuff happening there. Go check it out. You're getting a lot of behind the scenes stuff. I personally have a giveaway coming up very, very soon that I'm going to be doing, but it's going to be exclusive. I figured it out how I'm going to do it. I'm going to announce it on my channels and on my content, but it's going to be exclusive to Discord. So the only way you will win this giveaway is if you are a member of the Discord and we're going to say a name where everyone has to be in the voice chat, and I'm going to do a random thing, and that's how you're going to win it. But the giveaway will be a brandy new ABJ hat, snapback hat. They sent me one, so that will
That'll
be the
look good
giveaway.
on you, Mark.
Yeah,
that'll look good on you, Mark.
Yeah, I'm a big hat wearer. I might have to pick that bad boy up.
Yeah. So and the hats are not available on the Teespring. I have to put them back on, but you can order one if you don't win one. It's coming soon.
All right.
But that's all I got. Let's. That's my plug. Chase, go ahead.
I don't have anything other than exactly what ABJ said. I am check out my YouTube, guys. I've got some championship belt reviews coming soon. And then speaking of championship belt, we are doing a giveaway for the I-70 hot tag. And we will announce that on 420, our 1-year anniversary, where we will be interviewing Buff the Stuff Bagwell. So
Mark's shocked. He didn't know.
Yep. Buff Bagwell,
the porn star.
Yep.
Nice.
Buff Bagwell is going to be in St. Louis for a fan fest. So when we're going to talk about that with him on 420 on the I-70 hot tag. And then been watching some old WCW stuff.
Me too.
So there was a time period between like 1992 to 1995. Buff Bagwell was WCW Tag Team Champion 5 times with 5 different partners. So,
are you going to bring up the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match?
I have to. There's actually a podcast called On a Forklift that they actually had Buff on not too recently. So I thought that was awesome.
Love it.
Yep. Other than that,
cool.
Raz, what do you got?
Just check out my Twitch. I'll be starting to do a bit more content coming up soon. Also TikTok, same again, bit more content. Yeah. Over to you, Mark.
So I've actually been being a lot more active on Twitter. So if you guys could please do me a solid, go ahead and follow me on Twitter.
I just hit 1,000 on Twitter. Just hit 1,000.
Congrats, bro. So I've actually been watching WCW. I started from the very first episode. I just watched it the other day, doing that match in Mall of America. I'm going to be doing a lot of reviews of old school WCW and WWE episodes. I'm going to be watching them in sync, seeing how the Monday Night Wars unfold as well. So that's going to be pretty cool. I'll be moving into my new house next week. My YouTube will finally be starting to build. So go ahead and follow me on YouTube as well. And of course, TikTok, that's where my biggest following is right there. So
also not here tonight, but Anthony Graves, please. His links are also below his link tree. Go support Anthony Graves. Guy's killing it. So we did not want to forget about our boy, even though he's not here tonight. I think some Easter stuff going on, but definitely go show him some love also. And
are we going to pick a bad booking of the week?
Oh yeah, what my bad booking's Cody.
Cody.
Yeah, Cody.
That's why I didn't do it. I feel like we were all going to pick Cody.
Monday Night Raw.
The
It's up
entire
there.
show.
Yeah.
The entire show.
The entire show. You could have. There's still a story to tell. Like Hunter said, the story's not over. Monday, it felt like it was.
Yeah. Monday Night Raw for me.
And
I mean,
the story they're
much
doing
I'm
is literally a
disappointed about
rewatch
Cody.
John Cena story.
Yeah.
As much as I'm disappointed about Cody, I've got to say Monday Night Raw was probably worse this week than the Cody losing.
The bad booking. The bad booking is the bad booker himself, Vince McMahon.
It's funny because it's true.
That fucking god awful mustache, that fucking hair. It was awful.
All right.
So,
There you have it.
Ari Stevens, that's his name, or Ari Samuels,
Mhm.
the CEO of Endeavor. Fuck that guy too. He's a bad book. He's bad booking of the week as well.
All right.
For him to jump on CNBC and was like, "Hey, this deal wouldn't have been or couldn't have been done without Vince McMahon." I was like, "What? What?"
Crazy, right?
But that's the way he wanted it, right? That's the way he wanted it.
I mean, Vince now has that creepy pedo mode going as well.
He always had that creepy pedo look. So.
But he's got the pedo mo. He's got that little pedo mo.
All right, that'll do it. We'll see you guys
Rock
next
us out.
Sunday. See you. Bye.